Yeah, so what this is a model that we've done in preparation really for this spring statement in terms to look at the long-term effects of tax changes. And so what the Treasury currently does is it models the impact that its policies will have in a static way. So it looks at essentially how much a tax change will either increase or reduce the amount the Treasury can bring in terms of tax revenues. And now that's good in a sense because it shows how much the Treasury is going to be bringing in as a result. But what it doesn't actually acknowledge is the fact that it's not just sort of the economy isn't static. There are wider effects to tax changes. If you're going to increase taxes on somebody, they're probably going to spend less as a result because they're going to have less in their own pocket at the end of every month. And so what we've done is create a dynamic tax model, which kind of looks at the changes that tax policies can have on the wider economy, on investment, on growth, on wages. And so what our model actually showed for the national insurance rise specifically is that in 10 years' time, the economy is going to be £24 billion smaller than it would have been if the rise hadn't been put in the first place. And alongside that, it's also showing £6 billion worth of investment isn't going to be invested as a result, and that wages on average are going to be £5 lower per week than they perhaps would have been. And so what really it shows is the fact that when we put taxes up in this way, it's actually going to mean taxpayers are going to be paying double for the same thing. They're going to be paying through higher taxes for health and social care spending, but they're also going to be paying through lower wages. And so I think what the government really has to do is kind of shift its focus onto this sort of thinking, which it has done in the past, I should add. It used to do this for corporation tax, for example, when the Cameron government cut it in the early 2010s. They used this sort of modelling to see that actually when you cut corporation tax, the amount of revenues you bring in goes up. And so I think if the Treasury shifts back to that focus onto a wider scale, then that will actually deliver more money for the Treasury in the long term through greater growth.